Hello everybody, welcome to a new Path of Exile video. I'm going to be talking about the 3.28 Mirage League, and I'm going to be talking about a change that might have slipped under everyone's radar. Although the changes in 3.28 are really crazy, including new content, astrolabes, changes to totems, holy skills, and much more juicing mechanics, there is another mechanic that has most likely slipped under everybody's radar, and that is the Breachlord Bloodline Ascendancy. Since graphs are permanently going away following this league, the node called Otherworldly Appendages on the Breachlord Bloodline will be replaced by a new node called Cryogenesis. I'll get into the details of what this node contains, however first I need to explain how elemental hit works and what the mechanics are relating damage and conversion. The specific wording of elemental hit says that each attack with a melee weapon will choose an element at random and will only be able to deal damage of that certain element. This means that elemental hit inherently deals all 3 lines of damage, however it reduces all non-chosen elements to 0. For example, say elemental hit chooses cold damage. It will do the entire line of cold damage and will reduce fire and lightning damage to 0, although inherently doing that type of damage in that strike. This means that added damage of the non-chosen element is automatically reduced to 0, proving completely ineffective. Although elemental hit does technically 0 of the non-chosen elemental type, if you were to convert that elemental damage to the element of the chosen type, it would now do all of that damage, effectively increasing your damage by a huge portion. This brings me to how elemental hit used to be played, with Avatar of Fire. Avatar of Fire would convert part of your cold damage and part of your lightning damage to fire damage, and making it so that you deal no non-fire damage. This would add a huge portion of damage to your elemental hit, outlined by the math above with the use of 2 combat-focused jewels, making it so that you only choose the fire type of damage, although reducing your cold and lightning damage by 50% less. Although elemental hit may have damage bonuses, there are multiple key downsides to why you wouldn't want to use Avatar of Fire, namely not being able to chill, freeze, and shock. A line on elemental hit says that there's 10% more damage for each type of elemental ailment on the enemy. This effectively makes you deal 30% less damage when you're only dealing fire damage, because you can only inflict ignites and you're not able to inflict chills, shocks, and freezes to the enemy. Another example of elemental conversion with elemental hit was in the Freesia 2.0 League, with the Surfcaster notable that converted 100% of your lightning damage to cold damage and allowing your cold damage to shock. Based on a level 20 elemental hit gem, on average you're dealing 871 cold damage, 1068 fire damage, and 1202 lightning damage. This damage disparity means that if you convert all of your lightning damage to cold damage, you are effectively dealing over double your damage base. As you can see where I'm going with this logic, converting your elemental damage to one certain type of element is extremely strong, especially with elemental hit. Now, let's get into the details of this new notable. This new notable clearly says, if dexterity is your single highest attribute, all added damage is treated as added cold damage. From what I'm getting from this text, this would mean that all the added fire damage from the skill and all the added lightning damage from the skill will be treated as added cold damage, provided that the gem is choosing the cold element. This would mean that instead of on average 871 cold damage, it would do 2006 added cold damage. This basically means you're doing 2.3 times the damage that you'd normally do, or 330% more damage. If you thought Surfcasters were strong with converting all of the lightning to cold damage, you're in for a treat. This notable is 88.5% stronger than the Surfcasters conversion notable. And if Surfcasters were able to hit damage numbers such as 80 million, 100 million, or even more than 100 million, then who knows what kind of damage this can give you. Unlike the Avatar of Fire version, This one can have many ailment types, such as Ignite from the use of Foulborn Deity and Dawn, which I doubt will be deleted the next league, Chill and Freeze through the use of inherent cold damage, Shock with the use of the Yoke of Suffering, and Brittle or Scorch, either one or the other, through the use of the Unseen Hue Opal Ring. Many people don't use this ring, so it should be cheap with the Scorch version. However, it might be a little pricey at the start of a league for the Brittle version. So that was pretty much it with my kind of little mini rant about Elemental Hit Slayer and the possible super buff that the Bloodline notable got with the Breach Lord. So if you enjoyed that, please leave a like and possibly subscribe for future Path of Exile videos, and y'all have a good rest of your day.